I had a viewer ask me if I had a video about changing lid switch. Now, a lot of my videos I have changed the lid switch, and it shows it, but I don't have a video specifically showing how to change the lid switch on these modern machines. Now, to do this, you're going to have to get into the control board, and you're going to have to get underneath the cabinet top. So what we're going to do is we'll remove this screw on this particular machine. Now, your machine may be different, but all these machines, these modern machines, have a similar lid lock system. It doesn't matter, they all have the lock usually in the center, and it connected to the control board. Now, yours may come apart differently, but by watching this video, you should be able to figure out how to change your control board. Now, not all machines come apart like this one, so but usually you have a back panel, and there's usually about 3 screws around here, and like Samsung's, there'll be screws that go down in the plastic itself. This one has an offset on it. I've got this drain hose up like that. So now we're in the back part of it, and we also want to get the top up so we can see the wire through. So we want to take off these 2 screws here on these little tabs. So we'll set all this aside. Now, most of these Whirlpool models, this is Crosley. Whirlpool makes a lot of these for different brands. You just shove it forward about, looks like a ½ inch, and you wiggle it, and you can remove it from those tabs. Now, you want to raise your lid up, and be careful, because you want to fit these slots into these tabs here, so your top doesn't just fall behind. And what we're going to be doing is taking this device here off. Now, this one just clips on. Some of them are screwed on. So what you need to do is raise up your lid. If it's a Samsung or what, there's going to be clips here that you'll push in with a putty knife and be able to pop the lid up. Or you may have a little more difficulty with a more complex machine, but the lid locks are usually in this area here. Now, this one just clips in. Some of them are going to be screwed in. So you're going to have to examine the underside of it to see if your machine has screws or is designed like this one. So on this one, it's pretty easy to get out. What you do, I usually take a nut driver with a blunt end on it, and you put it on the left hand side of the lid lock, and just tap it with your fist, and it will come loose, and if you're lucky, it will just fall down in the case. Now, with the same nut driver, there's these clips here. I just push these wires to release it from the clips, and now you can just drop this down in the tub. Drop this down. Let's lower this. Now, you can stand on your head and get all this done under here, but I like to go ahead and lay it down. Take a putty knife and put it in right in here, and there's a clip. Just push it back and rotate the console up and pull it forward and lay it down. That exposes the wires where you can get into it a little better. So right here you have where your lid switch comes up through the case, and there's 2 little tabs right here. You can push in with your fingers, and it just drops through. And then on this motherboard, there's this clip here. You can take your putty knife and you go in the top of it and just push and pry up, and it opens this little standoff. You may have to take a few wires loose, and there's a tab here, and you want to push in and pinch it and just pull this out. And once you pull it out, you can feed this wire right back through the case. Stand this up again, and I always push down just one side, so when I lift this case up, this doesn't fall and rotate all over the place. Open your lid again and remove the old. And since this one is good, we're going to be replacing it. And you replace it just about the same way you took it out. You would raise your lid up again, making sure your tabs are in the slots. And going from the rear to the front, you want to feed your wire back through, and take this thing and you'll want to push those tabs back in, and it'll swivel around. Now you want to rotate your wiring harness, and you can pull up with your finger and take your thumb and push it down, and pull up with your fingers and get that right back in place. Now to put this back in, you look from the bottom side. You want to feed it from the bottom over this right here and push up and now it should pop back into place. That's all that is to it. Make sure your lid fastens down, and if you can pull up on it, it's not done right, so you got it back in there. So now that we have that installed, we need to plug it back in. You want to go over here with your new one and make sure it's not caught between all this other stuff. And the new ones usually come with this piece on them, or some of them do. And you want to feed your wire back into that little standoff, and just pinch it with your finger, and it should go together like that. And now you can plug it back in, listen for it to click, and feed that into there, and replace all your wiring harness where it should be. Come on. There we go. Now everything's snug and secure. Feed all this back in there. Put your console cover back in these holes right here. There's one and one, and it should come backwards, and then just snap it down. Now you'll want to replace your cover. It's a fairly easy thing to do. I didn't have this drain hose in the way. So on this cover, you want to feed these tabs under console, and there's these two tabs that stick out, and these others fit underneath. Watch your water valves fit right. Everything is in place. Take your 1/4" nut driver and replace your console screws. And now you also want to make sure you replace the screws in these where these tabs are. That if the top of your cabinet isn't pulled back enough, this should pull it back and secure it. And there's just two on the back side that does this. And don't forget to replace your wiring harness cover. You may have to push this down to fit it back into place. And the way this goes, you have these two tabs here, and they fit in these holes right here, and just like that. Now yours may look a lot different, but basically it's the same exact process from one machine to the other. And that, my friends, is how you change a lid lock on a Whirlpool-style modern low-end washing machine. And remember, you may have a different lid lock than this, and they fasten differently up here. So that's why you have to take your cabinet up to see which one you have, because it may screw into the cabinet, not into the knot clip. Anyway, that's how you do that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Chip is out.